Hello, welcome back to Meditational Live. Today we're gonna talk about Penzil web app once again. I'm gonna be doing some random doodle, maybe making like a quilt. So basically, you know the drill. With Penzil app, it's similar to Blender grease pencil. So you draw like doodles on the canvas, on the provided canvas, and by default it's a display that you can actually move around, and you can kind of draw on top of it, so you have like stroke created on the canvas like that. And you can also draw like shapes with fill if you want to, with different color. And let's move this to the back. Oops, I just accidentally rotated sometimes. So yeah, we can draw something like this very quickly, and this is actually can become like a 3D mesh if we can export it into Blender, or in my case I want to show you this app on my iPad, so we can export it into Procreate. So yeah, you can also use different type of canvas like cylinder, sphere, and for example if we are using cube, we can quickly draw shapes on this cube. Let me show you. So this is it's a bit hard to zoom in and zoom out on the desktop version, so I will actually switch to the iPad version. So this is my iPad, and I will be using the beta version of the Penzil app. With the beta version, we can actually export it into Procreate as USDZ. Okay, so let's just get started. I'm gonna switch to the cube. It's easier to move around and rotate on the iPad. And imagine this is like a cereal box. I want to actually scale this and reshape it slightly, so it's more like a cereal box. So this is gonna be my canvas, and I want to be drawing some random shapes. Let's create a fill and give it a color. I want to show you like some kind of like a way you can make like random shapes very quickly, and then you can add more details and send this to Procreate. Okay, sometimes the gizmo there is need to be invisible. Oops, maybe locked it. Yeah, so this is kind of another way to do like a 3D art therapy. You can be relaxing, listening to music, and just draw like a random shapes. Imagine this is like a quilt, and you want to just draw and trace random shapes on the 3D objects like box. It's really simple, right? That's why it's like a therapy. It's nice for your brain to be able to do this very quickly. And since I'm using the iPad, right, so this is also pretty cool. You can be on the sofa and just drawing random shapes like this, and if you're happy with this, you simply export it to Procreate, because at the moment it's looking really simple and you don't know what else you want to do with it. I'm just gonna export to Procreate. We can actually manually tap. Okay, this is interesting. The face of this shape, I mean, when you're exporting to Procreate actually expecting this guy to be facing. Procreate only works with a single face mesh, so it's expecting you to prepare a mesh with a correct facing face to do the painting. The normal can be flipped this way. For now, I don't need to worry too much. You can flip it by clicking and tapping, but it just gonna export it anyway. Okay, download the USDZ into the file, and I'm gonna open it on the Procreate. So what's happening, Penzil app actually exporting the shapes as a mesh that you can paint inside Procreate. So here we go. It's pretty cool. But like I said, Procreate only paint on one side of the shape, so that's something to keep in mind. And when you are exporting from Penzil app, you're gonna end up with multiple shapes and multiple material. That's okay, but this is like when the fun is gonna start. I will be using calligraphy, water pen. I like that pen, and we're gonna start painting our quilt. Okay, so this is we actually need to tap on the shape that we want to paint on. So this is a Procreate thing. If I want to paint on this one, for example, I need to tap on it because it's like a separate shapes and also separate materials. But that's okay for now, you know. Yes, you want to be painting and just enjoying the experience. It's really like a therapy. If you often go to art gallery and look at the work by Aboriginal art, you see something, this kind of pattern that you can follow. It's okay, this one is actually inverted, that's why I cannot paint on it, but I can paint on the inside, which is really interesting. Slightly annoying, but also it's kind of interesting that you need to work on that side. But anyway, yeah, keep going. We're just gonna go with the flow, you know. The tools should only serve us, you know, like your passion or your expression with art is completely separate from the tools, you know. Because this is like using digital tools, that's why things can be slightly technical sometimes, but you just understand a little bit. Sometimes all you need to do is just to understand a little bit. You don't need to understand every single tools, but you just want to understand enough so you can start working on your art piece. And what we are doing here, of course, it's using the iPad, and I just switched from Penzil web app into this into Procreate. There's a lot actually for your brain, and we are working in 3D at the same time. We are actually painting in 2D, so there's a lot. It's a lot for your brain, but you also want to kind of limit, or kind of like so you understand enough, right? And you just want to do some painting. That's this is where it's becoming really fun. In the end, of course, you're gonna look at it. You're gonna look at your work and okay, wow, I just created that. It's really beautiful. Okay, this one is actually inverted. Again, I can paint from the inside. Okay, this one is the right facing face, which is a little bit darker. I can paint on this guy if I tap it, and I can paint. Okay, so let's actually do that. We can use different type of paint. Instead of calligraphy, there are actually plenty of other brush. I really love the brush inside Procreate. I wish I can do this inside Blender. So many beautiful brush to choose from. For example, let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, look at this one. Tap it. It says so much energy if you're using this type of brush. It's like so artistic. One thing I want to tell you, of course, like I said, from Penzil app, when converted into USDZ, into this 3D mesh that you can work inside Procreate, you're gonna get like a separate shapes. I wish there's a quick way to just merge all of this geometry, maybe in the future. For now, the only way is maybe to send it to Blender and then just merge everything and then do the UV once again. So let's just continue, just follow. Oop, this one I cannot paint, so I can paint from behind, from the inside, which is really quite interesting. Slightly annoying, it's really weird, but you're gonna get the result anyway. Since this is like for some kind of abstract looking 3D therapy, you know, why not just do something a little bit crazy, more expressive. It doesn't always need to be like a like a art, like a 3D art that's looking realistic or looking like a certain type of character, or like it doesn't need to look like anything. You just work on it, you know, just paint. And this is really fun. And of course, if you use like a real physical material, real canvas, real brush and water, and you get all this dirtiness, and maybe you like it, maybe you don't like. I like it actually, but sometimes you are also, there's limitations. Maybe you like the limitations, I mean, but with digital you have unlimited paint and you can do this without getting dirty, and maybe that's what you want. Totally up to you, but I find this quite a nice little therapy. You made it up along the way. Okay, yeah, I think I painted most of these, and yeah, so the different mesh might annoy you a little bit, and then also like a flip face that you cannot paint on directly, or that's might annoy you a little bit. So maybe it's a good idea just to send this into Blender and then just merge everything. This one is cool already, however, oops, I think I just disconnect the iPad. I can send this as USDZ and it's becoming AR. I can send this to my computer and then on my desktop here on my iMac and just work inside Blender and then just do something else. iMac. Yeah, send it. So it should appear here. Already with paint and single-sided. Again, USDZ is only single-sided mesh. I think our art QUILT serial box looking quite nice. I'm gonna duplicate it. Command D is duplicated and turn it into zip so Blender can open it. You will see inside the sketch there are actually all kind of material being generated. So I haven't done much here yet. I mean, let's just reopen it inside Blender. File, import, USD, download. Let's take a look at our sketch. Import USD with material blend. Let's take a look. Cool, right? Our art is being displayed. There are actually some of the surface is flipped, etc. I just call it like a quilt. This is like a interesting piece of art, but we're gonna remix this and send it back to Procreate so we can merge this into a single file. So currently, if I show it to you, the UV of this, so this is what a Penzil app generate. For each shapes, it's being applied with a single material and different UV. This might be what you want, but There are also like some of them like flip and single-sided. Here with the face orientations turned on, you can see some of them is actually indeed flip. Blue color is facing to the camera. It's a technical. So anyway, I'm gonna do something crazy. I just gonna do Command J. I'm merging everything, and I switch to, okay, I'm gonna delete all the materials. I'm creating a new material, right? And then I go to edit mode and then just assign the materials, and then I'm gonna remove unused material. So now we have a single material. We have the UV overlapping. Procreate is not gonna like that. We're gonna fix that. So single-sided, I'm gonna do F3. This is edit mode, and then make normal consistent. Now it's even weirder. Let me think. An easier way in Blender, an easier way is just to solidify. By doing solidify, it's adding the thickness, and we have two face. Maybe this is okay. I'm just gonna do solidify, and then I'm gonna do edit, go to edit mode, select all, and then UV smart UV project. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Blender is gonna take a look at this, and then it's gonna create a UV based on this model. I should have saved this and do the UV after I solidify. Maybe I should exactly do that. Yeah. Oh, actually this one's done, so don't worry about that. Oops, don't worry about this new Blender. I'm gonna save this. So we have the face with UV now, and it's automatic, but we're gonna send it to Procreate anyway. So file, export, GLB. I think GLB might work, or just OBJ. Where did I save it? File, export, OBJ. On the desktop, I'm gonna send it to Procreate. Using airdrop. Yeah, I'm gonna open it on Procreate. There you go. Okay. Looks pretty messy now, but you can paint on it. It's a single face, and you can paint on everything very quickly now. Which is pretty cool. There's the normal is looking weird because each one of them like different face. But anyway, doesn't matter. Because it is like a single surface objects with double-sided mesh, we can just paint more expressively using all kind of different color. It's more like a 3D, like a proper 3D therapy, because you don't think too much about anything. It's kind of nice to be able to do this in 3D. Of course, you can paint on any 3D mesh, but this is like the shapes, like a quilt. It's giving like a different perspective. If you want to do it correctly from Penzil app, when you export, you just make sure the mesh facing the correct side that you're painting on. it's not double-sided, but in this case, after we send it from Blender, it's becoming double-sided face. Okay, let's see. Wow, Procreate is just so cool. Like the painting is so fast, 100 times faster, and no delay, no lag. You can do all sort of crazy painting, spray, and it's almost never crash. It shouldn't crash. If it's crashing, maybe you don't have enough RAM. There's only less than 1 GB on your iPad. Okay, now it's actually frozen. This happens a couple of times. It's probably like a bug, but normally it saves your every strokes anyway, so you never lose any works because Procreate is saving every step. Right, beautiful. Now that's the spray paint. Let's take a look at the material. I like this material because it's painting it with like reflections and metalness, and this is like the PBR or physically based material. So when you're painting using the material, if you look at this, color, roughness, metallic. Yep. So you're painting with all of those 3 different channels at the same time. It's pretty common for 3D people to work with PBR at the same time. So in the future, maybe when you choose the brush, you're gonna get like a select plastic material, select metallic material, or select like wood, stones, things like that. So this one is abstract looking, but I quite like it as well. So when you paint with different brushes, it's gonna give different reflectivity and metalness and roughness. Well, it's become completely abstract now compared to before. Actually, I like the one before as well, more like a quilt. If you're happy with this, you can let me see. If I can reorient this. We can preview this as AR. Preparing the model. Okay, this is the cool part. There are 2 types of AR. This is like a preview mode. Another mode is when you actually export this out, share it as USDZ, and you're exporting it out as files. And then when you open it, it's gonna take the reflections, so you can see the USDZ with all the reflections. I think this is the one from Penzil app. Flat, plain, nothing else. And there's the one that's random, like it's a bit random and abstract and 2-sided. Oh yeah, this one is weird, with really weird triangulations. When I export it from Blender, I should have made them a little bit flat. The one that's we created earlier, however, is also kind of nice. So like a quilt, but this is like a single-sided. Some face is just single-sided, so but I quite like this. So I'm gonna share as USDZ and export it into Files app. Imagine this kind of creations in the future, but it's gonna be like maybe like a 3D, like VR, like a, it's gonna be so much fun actually to just paint in 3D, you know, like if you have like a 3D Apple Pencil or something. So now it's just in, this is in 3D, kind of neat. Some of them is single-sided, so when you rotate around, you can actually hide some of the polygon face, and until your user turn the 3D, you can then see the content. It's kind of interesting that it is single-sided. But anyway, so that's the whole process. Penzil app beta, so you need to go to beta Penzil app, and you do like simple doodles on this like a reference canvas box. So by default, again, it's just like a single flat plane, but you can quickly draw and doodles, just like if when you're using grease pencil in Blender, you have this doodle, and you can just export it for Procreate or export for Blender, export for AR. This is also, right, it's pretty cool. Penzil app. You can export this to Procreate. If it's like shapes, you can paint on it. So that's pretty much what I want to show you. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.